Hi friends, you're welcome to today's tutorial. Yes, here is the style we are going to work upon. So let's dive into our tutorial proper. The upper bodies of our gown has been cut out and likewise the lining. So go ahead and stitch the sides. Yes, you can go to the description box and see how it was cut out. So also for the back bodies, the linings. So I'll stitch from the neckline, the sideways, then I'll flip it and stitch on the lower sides. That's for the upper bodies. So also for the lower bodies, I've gone ahead and cut out the lower bodies, which is 44 inches. Meanwhile, the full length of the gown is 60 inches. 2 inches is for folding. So for the lower bodies, I went ahead and subtracted 2 inches from 44 inches. That means our lining is 42 inches, while the full length of the fabric is 44 inches. The 2 inches there is for folding. So all the way from the waist, I came down to a knee length, which is 38 inches. So I went ahead and shook it down. So from that point, I will use it to create a pencil shape. So that's it. Remember our style at the front of the lower bodies, there will be a slit. So I went ahead all the way from the waist to the hem of the lower bodies. I created 1.5 inch for the slit allowance. This is the front bodies, and also 2 inches. I deducted 2 inches from the lining. So what I will do next is to slit our opening all the way from top to the bottom. And I went ahead and notched it. Both at the top and the bottom. So this will serve as a guide for me to know where to open up. So I'll do the same for the lining. So I've done that, and I've gone ahead, I've stitched our lining to our fabric. Yes, here is the allowance. See how it is. And I went ahead and ironed it out. I gave it a hot press. So all the way, what I will do next now is to close in our slit. From the waist, I came down to 38 inches. So what I will do next is to measure it out. So all the way from the waist area. So I'll go ahead and measure out 38 inches from the waist to that point. So that's that. I went ahead and shook it down. So this will serve as our slit allowance. So all the way from the waist. So the width is 1.5 inches, just as we mapped out before. So I'm going to close it up from that point. But I decided to come up 2 inches. My client wanted something that is a bit free for easy movement. So from that 38, I came up to 2 inches. So that what we have there now is 36 inches. So from that point, I'll take it all the way up. So I'm going to close it up. Why are from that 36 downwards will be our slit. It will have opening. So that's that for the front. I've gone ahead and closed it up. That's our slit allowance, and here we have our opening for our front bodies, rather our front lower bodies. So I'll go ahead and fasten it down or hold this slit down with our hemming gum. So I'll use iron to close it down. If you cannot use hemming gun, you can as well tack it. I also went ahead and did the same for the back bodies. That's for the zip allowance. I created that 1.5 for the zip allowance, and I closed it all the way down. For the sleeve, remember our sleeve is a puffy sleeve at the upper shoulder. So I went ahead and measured out the full length of the sleeve, which is 13 inches in length altogether. So from the starting point, I came down 3 inches. This is for extra puffy, for it to make it to give you that extra puffy look. So from that point, I came down 4 inches. So I went ahead and marked out the armhole measurement, which is 8 inches, and added it extra 1 inch for seam allowance. So we have 3 inches and 4 inches as well. So all the way from the starting point, after I confirmed, I went ahead and marked out our armhole shape, which is in this form. All the way from that starting point, I curve it out at the 4 inches in length we came down. So this is how it's going to give you that puffy look, to add extra puffy to it. That is why we added 3 extra inches. So I went ahead and marked out our round sleeve, which is 7 inches. 14 into 2, we have 7 inches, and I added 1 extra inch for seam allowance. So I trace it out to meet the armhole. So what I will do now is to cut it out. So that's it. So this is how our puffy is going to be formed at the shoulder area. So at the hem area, we are going to fold it this way after we cut out our lining with it. So I'm going to use this to cut the second one. And gave it a notch. That's it. So I went ahead and cut out the lining, but deducted 2 inches from the full length of the sleeve. This will serve as the folding allowance. So I'll go ahead and stitch it and show us. So I went ahead, I also gave it a notch at that point. Now for the collar. So I'm going to trace out our collar using the front bodice of our blouse. So just this way, I'll trace it out like so, tracing out the V shape. This will serve as a guide for me to do the actual collar. So I've done that. So what I'll do next is to use my pattern master to connect it at each point. and to make it to be more visible. So I trace it out. So that's that. So from the V point, so I will create a straight line all the way from that point down. This line actually will enable me to curve or to create our color. That will serve as the width or the wideness of the color. So from the upper point, so I measured out 4 inches for the wideness. I did that on both sides. So I went ahead and confirmed the wideness. And now trace it out on both sides. Friends, please do subscribe. Okay, click on that red button and subscribe. It's free. Okay, and also give it a thumbs up. Just give the video a thumbs up. Like, share the video to your friends, and also comment. I'll be there to reply back. Thank you so much. So remember, we came down from our V point. From that V point, we came down 4 inches. So I went ahead and measured it down from that viewpoint. So all the way from the 4 inches, I'll trace it all the way up to meet the other end of the 4 inches wideness. So I'll do that on both sides. So that's that. So from the 4 inches, I came up 3 inches upwards to create like a curvy collar. If you should see the shape of our collar, at that point it was curvy. So I came up 3 inches upwards. So from that point right there, I create a curve from that 3 inches to the other side. So from that viewpoint, I came up as well 1 inch for me to create or to give it a curvy shape. So I create this curvy shape just the way I'm doing it. Like so. So I also do the same on the other side of the collar. I came up 3 inches. Then from this viewpoint, I curve it all the way in. curve it all the way in to create that curvy collar at that particular point. That's it. I will now cut it. While cutting, you have to be careful not to cut at the wrong place. So here our collar has been cut out, collar pattern. So I'm going to use this pattern to cut our main fabric. So I went ahead and placed our upper bodies. This is the way the collar is going to be placed, all the way right there at the front upper bodies. What I did next was to fold our fabric. I went ahead and folded it into 4. Yes, I'm going to cut out 4 collar as well. You can use pin to fasten yours, especially for a beginner. But if you know you can hold it firm, you can cut it without using a pin. So I went ahead and cut out, went ahead and added just ½ inch. And just at the sides where it's going to be stitched on our upper bodies. So here we have our 4 collar cut out. So I went ahead and placed one side on each other, taking note of the right side of the fabric. The right side of the fabric will be facing each other. So we are going to stitch on the wrong side, just this way. That is the way we're going to stitch, leaving the other side for joining to the upper bodies. So I'm going to close it all the way, just the way you see me doing it, and now turn it. So where we are, I've stitched it already, just see what I just demonstrated, and I went ahead and, before stitching, I went ahead and ironing our interfacing. That's this. You could use a collar stay, or if you don't have a collar stay, you can use a paper stay to do that. So for mine, I used a paper stay. I iron it out. So I've gone ahead and turned it to the right side of the fabric. So I went ahead and you can use scissors to bring out or to pop out the edges. It has to be sharp. Bring it out. So after which I'll use iron to press it down. Use iron to press it down. So here am I on my sewing machine. I want to stitch or to top stitch just on the lining. You know, our collar one is the right that will be facing upwards, the other one will be facing down. So one will serve as the main fabric, while the other color will serve as the lining. So I'm going to stitch it all the way on the lining only. Take note, just on that lining side. I'm going to top stitch on it. Just the way you see me doing it. Taking note of the close point or the close edges is going to be stitched all the way on the lining side. So here we have our collar well stitched. See how it is. I'm done top stitching on the two collars. So I'll go ahead and iron them out. So I gave it a hot press. So that's it. So here we have our two collars. So I'll go ahead and stitch it using the wrong side, just the way you see me doing it. Remember, at the upper part of our shoulder, it will be joined, so it will be joined together. So I left half inch down. See what I'm trying to say? I came down half inch from our shoulder, so all the way from that point I will stitch our collar and now flip it to the right side of the fabric. Yeah, so here we have our collar stitch already. See what I was trying to demonstrate. And I've gone ahead and joined our shoulder of our upper bodies for both front and the back bodies. I've closed it at the shoulder area. So see how beautiful our collar is. So right now the front and the back bodies of our lower bodies has been placed together. That is the right side facing each other of our lower bodies. So for our dart, so I went ahead, I came in from all the way from the zip area, 4.5 inches. 4 inches is the actual dart plus half inch for stitching allowance. So I'll also do the same for the front bodies. I'll short down 4.5 inches. So from the waist I came down 5 inches. That's for our dart length. So are they for the back bodies. So I connected it this way in a straight line. So what I'm trying to do here is to create our dart or to stitch in our dart. So I came in half inch on both sides, half inch on both sides. So for the back. Then I'll connect it all the way, just the way you see me doing it, in that angle. So that is the way it's going to be stitched on our skirts or our lower bodies. So I'll do the same for the back. So remember, for our style, we have our slit for the front or on the front bodies. So I'm going to stitch it this way, just the way I just traced that line. That's the way I'm going to be stitched. So I'll do that and show us. So our dart has been done, and also the sides have been closed using the actual measurements. The sides of our lower bodies, I went ahead and closed it using the actual body measurement. So here is our front slit. Here is our front slit. So what I will do next is to join our lower bodies to our upper bodies. So here we have our upper bodies. So I'll open up our zip measurement, our zip point. So I went ahead and open it up a little. So I will close it this way. From that our zip point, the zip points of each other for both the front and the back bodies, taking note of the sides, it must match together. But before I'll do that, I went ahead and gave a notch at the center point of our upper bodies. I gave it a notch. Also, for that of the lower bodies, I also notched the center point. So the both center points of the upper bodies and the lower bodies must match together for it to align to the proper point. So just the way you see me doing it. So I'll take note of the notched part at the upper and that of the lower bodies. So I'm going to do this all around. I'll fasten it with pin all around the waist, just the way you see me doing it. So I'm going to fasten a pin and stitch it all around and also fix the sleeve. So here is the final look of our gown. So thank you for watching to this point. Please do subscribe, okay? Like, share my videos to your friends and well wishers. Thank you. Bye.